Hi there, I am Lindsay with Off the Beaten Hook, and in this lesson we are going to talk about counting crochet stitches, rows, and how to turn your work. And this lesson is part of my Learn to Crochet series where we're building our crochet skills step by step from the very beginning all the way through making your first crochet projects and beyond. So if you're just joining us, you will find the complete series linked in the lesson notes. And in the last lesson, we learned how to create rows of single crochet, but one of the most common beginner frustrations happens right after that. Your edges start getting wider, they start getting narrower, they start getting uneven, or your rows one way or another slowly stop looking like a rectangle or a square with clean edges. And this usually happens because of missed stitches, extra stitches, or confusion around where the rows actually begin and end. So before we move on to learning our next stitch, the half double crochet stitch, we're going to slow down for a minute and focus specifically on how to count your crochet stitches, how to count rows, how to identify the first and last stitch, and how to properly turn your work. And this is one of the most important foundational crochet skills because learning to recognize your stitches will make every future project easier to understand. So today we're going to use our swatch of single crochet that we have been working on, and then in the future lessons we will look closer at how to count stitches and rows in those types of stitches as we start working on them as well. Now that we have completed our swatch, our little square of single crochet, let's go ahead and look at how to count our stitches and count our rows. So as we were practicing when we were making our swatch, I still have my stitch markers marking the first and the last stitch of the row. So we'll just do a quick review of how we're going to count our stitches as we go down the row of our single crochet, even though we've looked at this a little bit already. So again, we have the V's. In each of these V's is creating a stitch, one single crochet stitch. So when you count, you're going to be counting those V's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, all the way to the end. And again, I have also counted or stitch marked our last stitch of the row here. So just counting all the way across. That is going to be how you count your single crochet stitches. Just for visual reference here, I have marked the end of every single one of my single crochet rows in this swatch. You can see that there are a lot of them, and this is just a visual to show you how dense of a fabric this is. This is how many rows we got for 20 stitches across. And what you're going to do when you learn how to count rows of single crochet is you're just going to look at this and train your eye. When I count my rows, what pops out to me is, first of all, I see these little dashes. Okay, I see the backs of these stitches. All right, so whether you're looking at the right side, the wrong side, it's going to look exactly the same, okay? But these represent the back side of each of your stitch rows, okay? Now, in between, there is also another row in between those. And for me, this looks like a valley. It just kind of dips down. So for me, when I'm counting rows of single crochet, I visualize peaks and valleys. So I sort of see these peaks coming up here where these little dashes are, and then the valley that's going to come after that. Peaks and valleys. That's what works for me. You can come up with your own trick, but let's go ahead and count these rows together, starting from the bottom to the top. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23 rows. and 20 stitches in the tension that I used created a little square of single crochet. So refer back to this if you need just another visualization of how to count your rows of single crochet. And I will encourage you that as your stitches become taller as we move forward into half double crochet, double crochet, and onward, the rows become a lot more obvious because you can start just seeing the stitches popping out a little bit easier. Now, in the beginning, one of the most common mistakes is accidentally placing extra stitches into the turning chain or missing the final stitch of the row completely. And this changes the stitch count and causes your edges to widen or shrink over time. So here we have our swatch of single crochet where we just learned how to count our stitches and count our rows. And of course, counting our stitches is going to be the critical step in making sure that our edges don't end up becoming all wonky like this one. And I know this is an extreme example, but I just wanted to show you what can cause this to happen. Now with the first stitch of the row in a pattern, the turning chain either counts as a stitch or it doesn't. And with single crochet, as we discussed in our previous lesson, the turning chain does not count as a stitch. It would be extremely rare to see that in a pattern. But when you do start seeing taller stitches, sometimes the designer will count the turning chain as a stitch. And we will cover that later in detail when we learn how to make those taller stitches in later lessons. But here we are looking at a swatch of single crochet, and the concept is basically the same. So when working with single crochet, again, your turning chain never counts as a stitch. But when you're first learning crochet, it can be easy to mistake that turning chain as a stitch because it does look like one, and it can be tempting to make your first single crochet of the row into that turning chain. But if you do, you will now have too many stitches along that edge of your row, and so it's going to begin to widen in that area. It's going to begin to expand outwards rather than staying in a straight line. And that's what happens when you start to add stitches along the edge of your work. Now with the last stitch of the row, the issues arise because of the simple fact that they look a little hidden because of that turning chain. So oftentimes they are mistaken as the turning chain, and you will often skip working into that final stitch. And sometimes it can also sort of like kind of hide around the bend because sometimes that turning chain pulls that edge stitch down a little bit. So it can be kind of confusing to recognize that stitch. And when you skip stitches, your row begins to shorten, and you would ultimately end up with a swatch that sort of ends up going in a triangle direction, sort of like this one angling in. So instead of your edge staying straight like this, you are either skipping stitches. Here's your final stitch of the row that should have been crocheted into right here, but since it was skipped, you can see how dramatically that changes. Even just that one stitch got skipped, and we're already starting to go on the bias in the wrong direction like this. And sometimes, of course, it's not this extreme. You might end up having, one row over here where it's popping out and one row over here where it's popping in, so maybe somewhere more like looking in this middle area here. But this is just illustrating to you what that's going to end up looking like if you start adding or missing stitches. However, like we used in our previous lesson and like we used as we were counting stitches, these stitch markers are going to be your best friend. In fact, even as an experienced crocheter, I am pretty fanatical about using stitch markers at the very beginning and the very end of every row to be sure nothing is missed and nothing is added. And there is absolutely no problem with doing this. And eventually you will get more used to recognizing that first and last stitch, and you'll become more comfortable eliminating that stitch marker if you want. But they are such a great tool, and I just highly recommend you use them as you learn how to recognize those stitches. In this lesson, you learned how to identify and count crochet stitches, how to count rows, and how to properly turn your work at the end of a row with single crochet. You also learned why crochet edges sometimes become wider or uneven or narrower, which is one of the most common beginner crochet frustrations. So for practice, I would recommend creating several small rows of single crochet and counting your stitches at the end of every row, paying special attention to that very first and very last stitch in each row, since those are the easiest places to accidentally add or miss stitches. And again, using stitch markers will help you tremendously in getting used to identifying those stitches. Learning to recognize those stitches takes time and repetition, but this is one of the biggest steps towards feeling more comfortable and confident with crochet. And in the next lesson, we will build on this by learning the half double crochet stitch. So I'll see you there.